Have you ever seen an X-shaped cross and wondered, what's the story there? I mean, you see it on flags, in art, all through history, right? Well, its origin is this incredible tale of faith, humility, and one man's amazing journey. So let's dive in and uncover the real meaning behind the symbol and the saint who made it famous. So let's start with the big question. Why is this simple shape, just an X, considered so sacred? It feels so common, you know? But its significance is thousands of years old, and it's all rooted in a really profound story of personal conviction.
And here's the thing. The answer isn't about the shape itself. It's about a person. The entire meaning of this symbol is wrapped up in the life and, really, the death of one specific man, St. Andrew.
Okay, so to really understand the symbol, we've got to understand the man. And before he was a saint, before he was even an apostle, Andrew's story started out simply. No fame, no power, just the hard work of a fisherman. Yep, before he was St. Andrew, he was just Andrew the fisherman. A regular guy making a living on the water, working day in and day out with his brother, a guy who would also become pretty famous, St. Peter.
His life was really defined by this huge transformation. You can think of it as a before and after. His first calling? It was to the sea, as a fisherman, as a brother. But his higher calling would lead him to become an apostle of Jesus, one of the chosen 12. This pivot from a totally ordinary life to an extraordinary mission is really the key to his whole story. And once he answered that higher calling, well, that set him on a path that would define the rest of his life. His job wasn't casting nets for fish anymore. Now, it was to travel the world, carrying a message he truly believed would change everything. And he took this mission incredibly seriously. This wasn't just a short trip around the corner. We're talking about a journey that spanned the known world at the time. He went from Greece through Asia Minor, what we now call Turkey, and kept pushing on into the huge regions of Scythia, lands that would eventually become Russia and Ukraine. His dedication was just boundless. But every journey has to end somewhere, and it's in the final moments of his life that Andrew made a choice that would seal his legacy and create the very symbol we're talking about today. So his travels eventually brought him back to Greece, to a city called Patras. And it was there that his mission came to a violent halt. For his teachings, the local authorities condemned him and sentenced him to death by crucifixion. Now this is the moment where everything clicks into place. Facing his own execution, Andrew's thoughts weren't about himself. They were about his teacher. He made this one final, humble request. He said he felt he wasn't worthy to die on the same kind of cross as Jesus. And they granted his wish. He was crucified on an X-shaped cross. In that single moment, an ordinary shape was transformed forever. Through his ultimate act of humility, the X became the St. Andrew's cross, a symbol now completely linked to his name and his sacrifice. So you see, the symbol isn't just a shape. It's the final, defining chapter of this man's life. And it was that act that cemented a legacy that has now lasted for centuries and centuries. When you look back, his entire life was a clear progression, building toward this final moment. He starts as a fisherman, becomes an apostle. He's a tireless traveler who becomes a martyr. And ultimately, he was a man whose final act of humility created a symbol that would outlive him by thousands of years. Each stage was absolutely essential. So we've gone through the whole story behind this one symbol, and it kind of leaves you with a bigger question, doesn't it? What is it that truly gives a simple shape that kind of power? Is it the story, the person, or the belief behind it that allows it to last for 2 millennia? Something to think about.